Okay, YouTube, this is Acid Roots. I've got a rap review for you, and that is Snoop Dogg's Doggumentary. Now, this album came out in 2011, close to the time when, or maybe even the day that Wiz Khalifa dropped Rolling Papers. And the thing about this project, I looked up some information on it. Apparently, Snoop Dogg was about to call this project Doggy Style 2. So really, by that time, the thing was everyone was waiting for the sequel to Doggy Style. And, you know, the direction from Dogfather onward, Snoop covered different type things, but as some of the ones that I've covered, you've kind of gotten a more mainstream ever since about when the song Beautiful came out by Snoop Dogg. That's kind of where we got more of these mainstream and club-esque songs. Now, the main thing about it is, you know, if you like Beautiful, if you like Drop It Like It's Hot, if you like That's That Shit, Sensual Seduction, or, you know, the songs in between that you've heard, you know, you're going to find that on this project. And that, I am not someone who's going to say Snoop Dogg's older days are better, because I do appreciate the idea of having songs that you want to get crunk to. Now, this is definitely, I think people pay attention to this, but Snoop Dogg pays attention a bit better. And there were two singles supporting this project that did so. So really, Wet and Boom, both of these had real highlighted style to them. Wet was one of which that sounds real similar to Sexual Eruption. Wet sounds similar to Sexual Eruption, but it also sounds something circa what you were probably hearing in 2011. So it was very relevant to that time. You know, most of the time, folks were concentrated on outgoing records. You know, the Wiz Khalifas, the LMFAOs, the Keshas, and these type people that were around that sort of time. Snoop Dogg had his own take on it, and it actually fits pretty well. Now, Wiz Khalifa was very large around this time. He had the song Black and Yellow. He shows up kind of on a premature song on this release, but I don't think it really took that much to notice that they had chemistry of some sort, so, which continued throughout 2011 and further. But really, the thing about this project was Snoop pretty much. I don't know what happened to the promotion of this album. You know, for a Snoop Dogg album, it came and went, and really after Boom, I just don't know where it went. But as far as saying what song probably would have been the third one, as far as continuing what needed to happen, I probably would have thought Take You Home with Too Short and Daz Dillinger would have been a great one to do. But the only other one I could think of would probably have been Platinum, but he did drop some promotional singles. So really what you're getting on this project is basically a kind of powerhouse album where Snoop Dogg, a lot of the best songs on this project have to do with the people that he's good at collaborating with. So you'll notice he has teamed up with Too Short in the past, and same thing with E40. Both of these are some of the best songs on here. And yeah, the Dog Pound, you should know about that. And Wiz Khalifa and a couple other cats that we're getting. Young Jeezy, that's a new collaboration. But the main issue that I had with this project, besides the fact that I really didn't appreciate a lot of the production on here, and that's not the main reason, but just the overall feel of the album was in a different state than what I've come to expect from Snoop Dogg. And that was the strange part, mainly because I'm looking for, things to carry a Snoop Dogg album, as if, I don't know, it just felt like, as far as a stylistic album, we probably could have there's people that could compete with Snoop Dogg. At least it appeared that way on this album. Like, there's 21 songs on here, but there's really no reason for me to only like 1/3 of 21 songs. Even for Snoop Dogg, that's not, a good thing to be seen. I think a lot of ways, you look at some of these records, like if Yellow Wolf were he to do something like that, I think he would have more of the effort to contain it. But I'm not sure the reason behind why these songs were not as effective as they were supposed to be. But it's not really that hard to tell. I mean, there's a lot of songs on here, which was kind of the problem that I remember with Ego Trippin', was some of the country crossover and the reflective and introspective numbers, and which there were many of, didn't really do it. And I feel like a beat was wasted on the Peer Pressure song, which was kind of similar to Crazy with Nate Dogg from the Blue Carpet Treatment, but it was just concentrated on, saying not to. I mean, that could have been a real jam to just. I mean, that just felt like West Coast right there, but it kind of was a dropped opportunity. So yeah, I mean, as far as like seeing Snoop Dogg in the style form, like I've talked about this before when I sat there and said, cut Calhoun's introductory song, Get Cut. I kind of feel like that in the same way. Snoop Dogg himself has done this with the song Who Am I from Doggy Style. Right then and there, we had a Snoop Dogg song, lets you know who he was, what he's doing, what he's about, and what his mentality is. And then we took it to the club song, Gin and Juice. And then from there, those were the two biggest songs off of Doggy Style. But it just is difficult trying to find, songs that show off Snoop's character but are interesting at the same time. And it's either one or the other. If it shows off Snoop Dogg's character, it's not interesting. If it's interesting, it doesn't show off Snoop's character. So that's kind of the problem. The guests kind of hog up the best moments on this project. So, it is called the Doggumentary, but it feels less like that. It feels less like a documentary. So, obviously this album will not get the highest score from me, but if you don't really care about listening to the full project, yeah, both singles are great. They're great fun. There's more songs. There's some guests that you've probably heard of. So if you're just skimming through albums, this CD will probably work for you pretty well. But I'm going to give this because I like 7 out of 21. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10. And the 7 songs I enjoyed were Platinum, Boom, Wet, My Fucking House, This Weed Is Mine, Take You Home, and I Don't Need No Bitch. So, yeah, I mean, the best parts were when Snoop Dogg had guests. We really could have used some songs showing off how Snoop gets down. That's really the main thing about it. And if I get comments and those sorts of things saying, well, he did do that. I mean, once again, just what I said about the songs that show him off being less interesting, that's the whole problem. So the social score, I will give a 5 out of 10, which means how well it plays around your friends. 2 singles is good, but I mean, that's about the only problem. Is you look at a Snoop Dogg record, it really should be doing more than that. I mean, he did have a pretty big 2011, but it just felt like kind of coasting more than anything else. So, yeah, can this record be topped? Absolutely. It's still worthy of a purchase just because the songs that are good are pretty damn good. But I think you'll just be left hungry. So Subscribe for more fun.